All right, let's dive into the single most important part of any construction project. And here's the twist. It's the part you never actually get to see. We're talking about that complex, absolutely critical phase known as pre-construction, the unseen foundation that really determines everything that comes after.
So when you think about construction, what immediately pops into your head? Is it giant cranes, fresh concrete, steel beams reaching for the sky? Well, what if I told you that the most crucial phase, the one that makes or breaks the whole thing, happens long before any of that stuff even gets delivered to the site? That's right. A project's success or failure is almost always sealed right here, in the pre-construction phase. It's this invisible groundwork of planning, paperwork, and intense preparation that everything else is quite literally built on top of. So where does this whole journey begin? It kicks off the very moment a contractor wins the bid. And the first, most critical step is the handoff, getting all the knowledge from the team that priced the job over to the team that's actually going to build it. Now, this handoff is kind of like a three-step dance. First, the budget gets passed from the estimators to the project team. Simple enough. Next comes the buyout. That's where the team gets on the phone and negotiates to lock in the final, real-world pricing for every single supplier and subcontractor. And finally, they award those subcontracts, making sure to include these super important flow-down clauses. That's just legal speak for making sure the big rules in the main contract automatically trickle down and apply to everyone working on the job. And speaking of rules, the next big job is to build the official project rulebook. And listen, this isn't just one binder on a shelf. It's more like a whole library of interconnected documents and plans that will govern every single decision made on site. The absolute heart of that rulebook, its very spine, is a document called the Conditions of the Contract. You can pretty much think of it as the project's constitution. It lays out in no uncertain terms everyone's rights, their responsibilities, and all the protections in place, from the owner at the very top all the way down. So this rulebook has a few key parts, right? You've got the main agreement, the drawings, the technical specs, but the real glue holding it all together is Division 01. It's the unsung hero, the part of the contract that translates all that high-level legal language into practical, on-the-ground instructions for how to run meetings, handle paperwork, and control quality. Okay, the rulebook is written. Now the contractor has to prove they can actually follow it. Before a single shovel can even think about hitting the dirt, they have to submit a mountain of paperwork that proves everyone involved is properly protected, both legally and financially. Two of the most important pieces of paper here are the surety bonds. And it's actually pretty simple. A performance bond basically says to the owner, hey, don't worry, if we mess this up, the job will still get finished. Meanwhile, the payment bond says to all the workers and suppliers, don't you worry, you are absolutely 100% guaranteed to get paid. It's all about managing risk for everyone. And oh yeah, the paperwork doesn't stop there. The contractor also has to show certificates proving everyone's got insurance, submit a final list of all the approved subcontractors, provide a schedule of values that breaks down the project cost for billing, and even create a schedule for when all the future paperwork is due. The whole point here is transparency and rock-solid planning. So, with the rules set and all the protections in place, it is time to build the master plan, the construction schedule. And this isn't just a calendar with some dates on it. No, this is the project's incredibly detailed roadmap, mapping out every single step from day one to the finish line. At the very heart of any modern schedule is this concept called the critical path. Now, what is that? It's the specific chain of tasks where there is absolutely zero slack. Zero. If any single activity on this path gets delayed by just one day, the entire project's completion date gets pushed back by one day. You can see why project managers are obsessed with it. And building one of these schedules is an incredibly complex puzzle. You have to factor in literally everything. How long does it take for steel to get from the factory to the site? How much time does the architect really need to approve a shop drawing? How many days should you bake in for potential rain delays? You even have to coordinate things the owner is buying themselves. It's a huge logistical challenge. And after all of that intense planning, all those variables and critical path calculations, it all gets boiled down to one single, legally binding number, the contract time. This is the official game clock. From the start date, the contractor has, in this example, exactly 730 days to get the job to substantial completion. So the team has the rulebook, they've got the roadmap, now they just need that final official green light to get started.
and that means clearing a flurry of last-minute administrative and regulatory hurdles. This right here is the moment everything has been building towards, the notice to proceed. It is the formal, written instruction from the owner that just says, go. The second this document is issued, that 730-day clock officially starts ticking. No turning back now. But go doesn't just mean start digging. It means racing to get the official building permits from the city, sorting out any last-minute building code issues, getting the first government inspections on the calendar, and holding final pre-construction meetings to make sure every single person is on the exact same page. With every approval finally secured and every plan locked in, we have arrived at the final step of pre-construction, mobilization. This is that magic moment where the virtual plan finally starts to become a physical reality on the job site. Suddenly, the site just comes alive. The team swarms in, fences go up for security, temporary power and water get hooked up, erosion controls are put in place to protect the environment, and, this is a big one, they verify and mark the location of every underground utility line to avoid a disaster. You know, one of the very first and smartest things they do is take photos and videos of everything. Every crack in the sidewalk, every existing condition. Why? Because this simple 10-minute task prevents countless arguments and claims down the road about whether or not they cause certain damage. And just like that, it's done. The handoff is complete. The rulebook is written, the master plan is approved, and the site is prepped and ready to go. That massive, invisible foundation of pre-construction work is finally set in place. Now, all of this incredible planning is designed to create a perfectly smooth project. But let's be real, construction is anything but predictable. So the real question is, will this unseen foundation be strong enough to handle the inevitable storms ahead? The bad weather, the supply chain problems, the human errors? That is the ultimate test.